From year to year, century to century, more heat is accumulated in the tropics of our planet, less heat at the poles. So the ocean and the atmosphere are partners in redistributing this heat. And this is the key to the climate system, this balance from season to season, year to year. But it's not a perfect balance. There's a very interesting perturbation in the climate system. Every 5 to 10 years, what we get is a tremendous redistribution of heat in the tropics, which has a powerful impact all across the planet. It affects rainfall patterns, temperature patterns, and of course, that affects agriculture and the world's economies. And that's called the El Niño. And of course, the cool sibling of the El Niño, which is known as La Niña. Now, the trade winds normally blow from the Americas towards Asia, and they tend to pile up water off the Asian continent. The waters are very, very warm there. And that's an area where you get tremendous convection in the atmosphere, which transports the heat to the poles. Whereas off the Americas, like Peru and Ecuador, the waters tend to be relatively cool. Now, with our great constellation of satellites, we can actually measure the difference not only in the temperature between Asia and the Americas, but also the sea level. During normal conditions, the waters off Asia sit almost a half a meter higher than they do off the Americas. But every 5 to 10 years, you see a relaxation in these east to west blowing trade winds. And when that happens, there is a tremendous redistribution of heat in the tropics. Great waves transfer heat from the Asian continent towards the American continent. And this tremendous redistribution of heat, essentially, is a huge disturbance in the climate force. Now, again, these events happen every 5 to 10 years. They usually last for as long as a year. So these El Niño events are profound, but fortunately short-lived. Since 1992, we have almost a 2.5 decade of record of sea level and temperature across the world's oceans. This is a powerful tool, not only for climate scientists, but people that have to make political and sociological decisions, decision makers all across the planet, because we can essentially measure, gauge, have our fingers on the pulse of El Niño and La Niña, and at some level make forecasts of what the impacts might be in the next year. The oceans, which cover 70% of the planet, have a very high heat capacity, so they tend to retain heat. And so the oceans are the great flywheel of the climate system. All this great constellation of satellites that are measuring temperatures, atmospheric parameters, sea surface heights, essentially are fantastic tools that are improving our understanding. Not only that, making us more capable for better and better forecasts into the future.